Now let's move on to the Netflix series The Crown, and the Duchess of Sussex claiming she felt objectified. For the latest royal news, let's cross to the UK and chat with the royal editor of TalkTV, Sarah Hewson. Sarah, thank you for your time this evening. Let's start with Meghan. The Duchess of Sussex says she felt objectified while working as a model on the US game show Deal or No Deal. Meghan has revealed how she felt in her latest podcast that I just don't understand this. I mean, this was a role where she basically stands there and opens a briefcase. She's there for her looks and nothing else. And yet she says, I felt objectified. How's this whinge being received in the UK?
Yeah, evening to you, Rita. Good to see you. Yes, so Meghan, in her latest podcast, has been talking about the archetype bimbo, and she's talking to Paris Hilton about it. And she describes her time when she got an early break in her career as a briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal. And she said that she wasn't there because of her brains. She was there for her look. She was given vouchers to go and have a spray tan. She was told to wear a push-up bra. She had hair extensions, fake eyelashes. She was told to suck it in before she went on set. And she said, although she was grateful for the opportunity that she was given, she felt objectified and she felt that she was just there for her looks and nothing more. And that is why she left the show. Now, I think we can understand that. She does say that it gave her opportunities. It allowed her to pay for her healthcare. It allowed her to pay the bills. But all of us perhaps have taken on jobs that might have been seen as a stepping stone. There has been a backlash, though, from fellow cast members from Deal or No Deal, including Claudia Jordan, who has said this is not fair, this is not true, that everyone who was there as a briefcase girl was picked because of their outgoing personalities, and it has given them fantastic opportunities in their careers.
Yes, I saw that feedback from some of the other briefcase girls, and it's interesting. Meghan just wants to always cast herself as the victim, no matter what has happened. And she's done another interview, this time with Variety magazine. She talked about the death of Queen Elizabeth II and her new documentary. Tell us, Sarah, precisely what she had to say, and is there any prospect of the family coming back together, Harry and the other royals mending the fences?
That is the million-dollar question, I think, Rita, isn't it? Yes, this is an interview and a cover shoot that Meghan has done with Variety magazine in the United States. Initially, she did the interview back in August, and then she did the interview after the death of the Queen to reflect on that. And there's a few interesting lines. I don't think it gives the royal family anything to worry about in this interview, particularly compared to what we might have seen in the past. But there are a few interesting points. She talks about the Queen being a shining example of female leadership and how grateful she is for the warm relationship that she enjoyed with the matriarch of the family. But when she's asked about the aftermath, the days after the Queen's death, she describes it as complicated. And she says, my husband, Prince Harry, of course, ever the optimist, said, well, at least she's reunited with her husband now. The other point of note, I think, Rita, is Meghan in this interview appears to be distancing herself from the Netflix documentary series, the cameras that have been following Harry and Meghan for so long now, because she talks about entrusting someone else to tell our story. And that means it might not be the story we would tell.
That's interesting because, their cameras are there only because of this couple. They didn't get there by accident. Now, to the series The Crown, I still haven't seen it. It's on my catch-up list, but it's getting a wave of criticism. Former PM John Major, the Queen's mother's biographer, and now Dame Judi Dench are among those who have criticised the latest series of The Crown. So John's saying the series is a barrel load of nonsense. The Queen Mother's biographer, William Shawcross, saying the show is odious and deliberately hurtful. And Dame Judi Dench has signed an open letter saying The Crown is crude and cruel. Now, the problem with moving up to the 1990s is that many of the figures involved are still alive and able to point out that the storylines aren't entirely truthful. Jemima Khan, a former wife of Imran Khan, and joined the series as a co-writer last year to bring some accuracy to the storylines, particularly about her friend Diana, Princess of Wales. But she later asked for her name to be removed from the credits after discovering the show would, in her words, not be telling the full story and not being as respectful or compassionate as she hoped. A lot of people, Sarah, think The Crown is a documentary, but it's not. And I wonder if this latest series is going to cause a bit of damage.
Yeah, I think the heat is really on Netflix over this series of The Crown. And as you pointed out, Rita, the problem is that it's getting so much closer to the present day. And a lot of the protagonists are alive and don't like the way they're being portrayed, namely John Major, who, as you said, has described it as a barrel load of nonsense. Dame Judi Dench joining in the last few hours, writing a really strongly worded open letter to Netflix, calling for it to put a disclaimer on every episode, reminding people that this is a work of fiction and not historically accurate. And she says that needs to be done as a mark of respect for the Queen, because the fear is that this is going to be really damaging. It is, of course, covering the 1990s, that incredibly turbulent decade where we saw the War of the Waleses, the marriage of the Prince and Princess of Wales breaking down, where we saw Princess Diana give that infamous Panorama interview to Martin Bashir, and ultimately in 1997, the death of Princess Diana, and the timing of it difficult, coming just a matter of weeks after the Queen's death and the ascension of the King. And the fear is that the King, whose popularity has surged since he became king, that this will be damaging to his reputation because it drags up stories that the royal family would prefer to leave in the past. The royals can't say anything, and we're certainly not hearing anything from Buckingham Palace, although friends close to Prince William and sources close to him have said that he will be pretty uneasy and very uncomfortable and angry about the way in which his mother is being depicted for entertainment purposes. But we are starting to see friends of the royal family, Dame Judi Dench among them, rallying around and calling for Netflix to have a rethink.
Well, the portrayal of King Charles is going to be very interesting and, as you say, potentially very damaging. But I think the portrayal of the Queen is really what's going to upset people, because during that period after Princess Diana's tragic death, that's where she did receive some criticism, some harsh criticism, I would say some unfair criticism. And depending on how Netflix handled that entire episode, I think people just are not ready to have the Queen misrepresented or maligned this close to her passing.
Yeah, and Rita, there are two other episodes within this series that are causing a lot of concern. There is the depiction of a conversation where Prince Charles tells his mother that she was so deficient as a parent that she ought to have been locked up in jail and her children sent to care. A conversation which everyone says absolutely did not happen, is entirely fiction, and is hugely damaging to be shown in this way. And also scenes which suggest an affair between the Duke of Edinburgh and family friend Penelope Knatchbull. And there is concern that this is just crass timing, that it is wrong, and that it is not fair to be doing this so soon after the Queen's death. And that is the point that Dame Judi Dench has been making, that not only does the royal family not want to see this, but also the country doesn't want to see this at the time. And where she really kind of sticks the knife into Netflix, which has been struggling with subscriber numbers, is that she says that Netflix needs to have a think in order not to lose the support of its British subscribers.
Absolutely. Well said, Sarah Hewson. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.